All right, hey everyone, Jeff here at StopThePirates.blogspot.com. It's Tuesday, 25th of October, 2016. I was just reading this article. It's pretty amazing. Uber's self-driving truck makes first delivery of 50,000 beers. So, I mean, human beings are basically becoming obsolete. If you think about it, I mean, we're all clamoring around going, bring the jobs back, the jobs back. The jobs are never coming back because there's robots to do it, most of the work. So anyway, the San Francisco startup company Otto had just hours before made the world's first autonomous truck delivery of 50,000 cans of Budweiser beer. Unlike Tesla's autopilot, Otto system offers true level 4 autonomy. Once the rig hits the interstate, it is entirely capable of the job at hand, letting the human deal with paperwork, thumb her phone, or even catch a few Z's. The technology is ready to start doing these commercial pilots, says Otto co-founder Lyre Ron. Interesting name. Over the next couple of years, we'll continue to develop the tech so it's actually ready to encounter every condition on the road. So, I mean, there goes truck driving as a profession. I used to do that when I was younger. I was an over-the-road truck driver, and I hated it, but it was interesting to see the country. My point here is that we're all basically going to be obsolete in one way or another. I mean, we're getting to the point where the international bankers have leveraged us, our straw man accounts, to the point where we will never be able to pay it all back. And when you get to that point, it's like in the movie Goodfellas when they borrow every last penny from the restaurant or the bar, and what do? You torch it, you light a match, and get rid of it. And that's why they say we're actually worth more dead than alive, because the bonds they took out on our birth certificate bonds and traded on the international equities market aren't paying off like they used to. And when I say that, we're not paying back the interest on the bonds through your federal income tax, which is really just paying interest on these loans to the international bankers that bought these bonds. So you're actually worth more dead than alive, because the bonds are insured, and when they kill you or you die, it pays off the debt. The debt is wiped out. So I mean, that's what we have to wrap our heads around. It's hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, that we are economic bonded debt slaves, to the point where we have been bonded and leveraged, and the whole system is set up. The school system, for one thing, is set up to not question any of this, just kind of go along, pay your taxes, get a job, and go throughout your life, and hopefully live your 75 years and then just die. But they want to make money off the cattle in the process. That's why you have chemtrails, you have fluoride chemicals, all these things in the water that make you sick, the poison food, the GMO. This person I knew is going to a junior college, who's a 40-year-old, but they have her as the head of nutrition. And I said, well, I was talking to her, and I said, well, she's writing a paper, and I said, on what? And she goes, on the positive effects of genetically modified organisms, genetically modified food. I just went, fuck it, there it is right there. They teach you what to think, not how to think. So, but I don't judge anybody. People don't question it, It's like when the state is educating you, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get propaganda and things that make you a better economic debt slave to the state and to the investors that have purchased the bonds that were taken out at your birth on your birth certificate bonds, that have been leveraged 10 times, hypothecated. That's why you look at the back of your Social Security card. There's the letter, which corresponds to one of the 12 Federal Reserve banks, and then the account number, and that's your account. Now you get 10 of those over your lifetime. So go down and tell them you lost yours, and when you get a new one, you'll have a different letter and a different number on the back. So there's 10 of them out there, and then that's evidenced by the same account number and letter that corresponds to one of the 12 Federal Reserve banks on one of the U.S. $1 bills, or the $2 bill actually, or some of the older ones. But my point is when we talk about the redemption process and taking control of these accounts and at least putting a cloud over them, so if you ever get charged, and all crimes are commercial, they all have a monetary value on them. And that's another thing that's kind of a misnomer. You're not guilty or not innocent until proven guilty. You're all guilty. And these are just corporate statutes and codes. They all have a monetary value to them. And when you don't pay the whatever fine or the other the bond, when you're held in prison on a bond. So they write that bond off of your account that was set up at your birth. They write that bond against that, and then when you don't cover that bond, they put you as collateral in the warehouse, and then they sell default judgments, bid bond, performance bond, and payment bond on your default judgment that you didn't pay on. Like if I had a default judgment against anybody, a credit company, I could take that. It was big enough, if it was $50,000 or something, I could take that to an attorney, and they could leverage that and sell it for me. And somebody would buy it because somebody's going to collect on it, as long as I had the collateral to back it up. So my point here is that when we talk about redemption, the redemption process, and to some the redemption process in many ways is hard to believe, but one thing that you need to understand is that the strawman debtor that all the fines, fees, taxes are laid against, it's the strawman that some claim is filed upon, not you, but the entity is artificial, and he or she doesn't have any brains, hands, or fingers to write a check, and though it's not you, you have the obligation to ensure that tax gets paid. Discharged. So by and through the redemption process, you can take control of your trust, corporation, strawman by filing the UCC-1 into the Secretary of State's office. You can get a new Social Security card with the same number for your strawman and make your initial deposit via your birth certificate. You do an acceptance for value in the birth certificate for $100 billion, however much you want. Go $100 million. You just want to make sure it's enough. First in line, first in time, basically. And an interesting guy I know went through this process, and he filed bankruptcy. And you go to the bankruptcy court, and that's what a UCC-1 financing statement does. Basically lists all of your creditors. So whoever has the first lien or the first UCC-1 out there, say for the house or the car or the whatever, they're the ones that's going to get paid first in the bankruptcy. But he had his first because he's the only one that can do that through his birth certificate. So he ended up getting all of the money. And he obviously didn't have enough to cover the $100 million or whatever it was, but he was freaked out that happened. So these are just some of the things that you can do once you start learning about how this commercial system works. It's scary when we think about it, and we're all out here going, geez, what's going to happen with the president and all this shit? It doesn't even fucking matter. Trust me. Because this is the system of systems, the galactic system, the atomic and subatomic system of all systems that ultimately determines the totality of life on this planet. And it's banking law, it's admiralty, it's a perfect system, really, once you learn how to use it. So, in my opinion, the one who does the initial steps understands the process. So, you can get the information at stopthepirates.blogspot.com. I've got it for cheap. And it doesn't, there's a lot of information there, and it's kind of designed to set up for you to kind of dig into it and, have fun doing that. It's not like a silver bullet. This is a process. It's going to take anywhere 6 months or a couple years. It did me. I've been studying it, and I'm still studying it for up to going on 10 years now. But, I just don't want to come out like I'm some big guru or anything, because I don't know everything. But all I know is that the process that's been set up and documented works. Little things like this, how to deal with creditors, how to verify debts, and just everything. It's all bullshit, because anybody that sends you a bill for like your car, your house, your mortgages, or anything it's it's already prepaid. All of the public debt is prepaid. When I say public, anything that's tied to your Social Security number, all this debt is prepaid. So we all just need to start using it, and life can be a whole lot better, and you won't worry about the bullshit anymore. Anyway, that's going to do it. If you've listened up to this point, I thank you, appreciate it. And check out my blog at stopthepirates.blogspot.com. Have a good day.